Hey everybody, I'm Asian Funk and welcome back to my channel. Just wanted to throw a quick video together. The Berkeley Comic-Con is happening this weekend and I just wanted to show you guys what books I was going to bring to have signed by the guest artist Erik Larsen. Just in case you guys don't know who he is a pretty famous comic book artist. He's the creator of Savage Dragon. He's done covers for The Amazing Spider-Man, Walking Dead, Spawn, bunch of other stuff. He's also one of the original members of Image Comics, so he's pretty legendary in terms of the comic book industry, and I've never met him, so this is gonna be pretty exciting. I just wanted to show you guys what books I was gonna bring to have him sign. The first one I have here is The Amazing Spider-Man 346. I really love this cover, just, you know, the all black background and you know, the color, the green popping on the black. It just looks super nice. It's a pretty good copy. The only, I think, visible problem with it is that little smudge right there, and I'm hoping to have him sign it somewhere around here. That way it covers up the little smudge. We'll see if that works. This is just one of my favorite covers of his, and I can't wait for him to sign it. Now, before I continue, you're probably wondering why there are these blue squares. There are two reasons for that. One, it's basically highlighting where I want Erik Larsen to sign on the book. There have been situations where, you know, you think the artist knows where to sign on his own books, or you want to preserve a certain section, and the scenario is he signs it in a spot that you don't like, and then, you know, you're always going to think about that every time you look at the book. And I've been there, and I didn't even realize this was a thing, but you can pre-cut a square or a shape, whatever shape you want, into the plastic holder here, basically indicating, you know, pretty clearly where you want them to sign it. The other reason why I pre-cut holes in these plastic bags is so that I don't have to keep taking the comic book out of the plastic bag. I know, as someone who has stood in a lot of long lines, and then the person in front of you is like fumbling to take his comic book out, and you're just like, oh my gosh, hurry up. Or the other situation is I'm, you know, taking my comic book out of the plastic bag, and then the edge, you know, rubs the wrong way and bends a corner, or, you know, I'm the tape on the plastic bag, you know, or the adhesive, whatever it is you're using, gets caught on the comic book and you tear, you know, a piece off. A number of things could be happening while you're taking the comic book out of the sleeve. Well, you know, while you have like hundreds of people behind you waiting. Yeah. Just having that extra pressure off your shoulders it's changed my whole perspective on how I prep my books. This is how I send my books to facilitators, going to conventions that I can't attend myself. It takes the guesswork out of the whole situation, so, you know, people don't have to wonder where they should sign the comic book. It just makes it super easy. Obviously, you don't need to use blue tape. You could use any color you want. It's just blue happens to be pretty common, and it's usually a color that stands out pretty easily on a already pretty crazy comic cover. So yeah, so that's kind of why I do this. There is a bit of prep work that goes into actually getting this done. I tend to do some research on what the signature of the creator looks like. In this case, Erik Larsen's signature is kind of it's squarish, so I don't have to worry about it going across the cover or anything, or, you know, having a weird shape. His is actually pretty blocky, so, and it's not that big. So that in this situation, it's a little easier to gauge where it should go. Obviously, on this cover, it's going to go on in the white spot. And once I figure out the size of the signature, I go ahead and tape the area I want while the comic is still in the sleeve, and then I take the comic book out. I put an extra board in, which will take the cuts that I make with an X-Acto knife and a ruler, and that way it's not cutting the actual board that's going to be with this comic in the end. You don't want to have your comic book next to a backing board that has all these pre-cuts in it, so it's good to always have an extra one as a buffer. And then yeah, and then putting it back in can be tricky sometimes, just because the book can get caught as it's going back in, so just be aware of that. But yeah, it's not that hard. It's pretty therapeutic, actually. Have fun doing it, and yeah, it just makes it easier the day of. There's no, like I said, there's no guesswork, there's no pressure. The creator doesn't have to think about where to sign it. You don't have to tell him. You can actually enjoy the moment and talk to the creator about other things besides telling him where to sign it. That's kind of my thought process on why I did this, and you'll see how I did it on the next few covers. The next book I have is The Amazing Spider-Man 345. This is actually one of the first comic books that I remember ever owning. Couldn't really find a good spot for him to sign, so unfortunately this character Boomerang is gonna get covered up by a signature, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, no, I love this cover. I love Spider-Man on a yellow background. It's just very, very classic. This was the pose that I drew over and over again when I was a kid, so this means a lot to me, and I can't wait for him to sign it. And finally, if you're meeting Erik Larsen, you have to have one Savage Dragon comic to have him sign. I'm not the biggest Savage Dragon fan, but I do appreciate, him coming up with the character and everything. And if you're gonna have a Savage Dragon copy signed by Erik Larsen, you gotta have the first issue. Surprisingly, this wasn't that expensive. You would think that the first issue of any character would be pretty high up there, but no, this was really affordable. CGC will not be there, so these are just kind of for me. I'm not reselling these or anything, and it's just an opportunity to meet the guy. And last but not least, it's unclear whether he's going to have time to be doing any sketches or remarks, but I'm going to bring a blank variant anyway, and in the hopes that he's going to be in a good mood, or there won't be a ton of people bothering him, and have him do a quick sketch for me. And I've gotten this from a couple of creators before, and I would like to kind of grow my collection of just quick head sketches. And yeah, hopefully he has the time to do it and is in the mood. But yeah, that's all I'm bringing. Thanks again for watching. I know this was a short video, but I'm definitely going to be posting another video of me actually at the Berkeley Comic-Con, so yeah, stay tuned for that. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.